Hello and welcome to News Laundry Interviews. I'm privileged to have Mr. Kher with me today. When coming to acting school, we are at his acting school, Anupam Kher acting school. I saw a lot of kids down there, a few dozen. So you obviously taught a lot of children over the last few years,
Yes,
right?
we do. Apart from our diploma course, which is a 3 months diploma course, we do weekend workshops, we do evening batches, and we do also children's workshop.
So what is more satisfying, teaching or doing?
Teaching.
Is it?
Yeah. Teaching is amazing, and especially in the field of acting, a teacher learns what he knows, which helps him in acting, because acting has no syllabus.
Right.
Acting has no so-called, or this is the only way to emote, this is the only way to show anger, this is the only way to show happiness. And you discover various things, and there is no age limit. The more you know about human beings and the more you know about characters, the more you are able to see whether you can express it in. There are 6 people sitting in the studio right now, cameraman, your sound people, you and me. If we have to show grief, there are 6 different ways of showing grief.
I see.
So when you are, or happiness, or stomachache, or headache, so when you are teaching, you explore these various possibilities. It depends on.
So you get a lot from the children as
From
well?
the students. I think you get a lot from them. Because
And what do you find now? Most kids want to become, want to join, acting, because they are passionate about the craft, because they want to express themselves. They have some story to tell of themselves, or to become stars and rich. What is
you
the
will be surprised
motivation?
that most of the people, of course, there is a huge section of people who want to get into films because of the glamour, because of the money, because of the pictures being on the posters, etc., etc. But a lot of people come here for life coaching, for changing their way of thinking, discovering themselves.
It's not a professional call. It's
yeah, it's just they sometimes
spiritual, emotional, cathartic.
it's basically life. It's like learning about various things of life. Some people have a psychological complex or inferior complex. Some people feel that they feel nervous. So this
And acting helps in that?
Of course, acting helps, because acting is doing things externally, not only feeling. You should be. I believe in acting is about doing, not about thinking. You can be the biggest thinker on earth, but if it's not showing on your face or in your body language or in your speech, it's of no use. So I think a lot of people come here for confidence building, a lot of people come here for grooming, a lot of people come here for also discovery of their own self. At the beginning of any course, I always tell them that you will come closer to yourself.
Right.
But people who come here for movies, they initially come here from
Just to be stars.
just to be like Shahid Kapoor or Shah Rukh Khan or Varun Dhawan or Alia Bhatt, Shraddha
So what do you tell
Kapoor.
people like that?
First 5 days goes into demolishing that, because I tell them they are already there. Also, luckily, they are at a time when in the film industry, when originality is your USP. The cliche way of acting is, I think, dying.
Okay.
The cinema of cliches which
And
we
are you
were.
successful in convincing them of that?
Yes, yes. I may not be successful in getting them work, because that's not my
Sure,
job.
that's different, yeah.
But I do change their perspective of life. I do change their whole. I do make
Approach
them
to the
understand.
craft.
Yes, and also it make them understand that if you're good, you will get work at any cost.
All the work that you've done in your life, आपने I think 400 filमें की हैं.
498. I'm just
498.
too short of 500.
500. If you were to pick, कि भाई I'm most proud of this, and this is a regret, I wish I hadn't done. Is there anything that
I
which
don't
ones would you
regret
pick?
any work that I have done. I think bad work is part of good work. Not all your interviews will be great. So there is no regret. Means I, from a nobody, even those bad films that I did added me to become somebody. So out of these 498 films that I have done, there are number of films, right from Saransh to Daddy to Dilwale Dulhania Le
Saransh
Jayenge.
always comes on number 1.
Because it was my first film. If Saransh
what-
was my 10th film, maybe it would have not had that much of impact, because I
on
was
you
a nobody.
or as
Everybody. Because if Sanjeev Kumar did Saransh, we knew that Sanjeev Kumar has done Saransh. But because I was an unknown face, nobody believed that I was 28 years old boy, and then suddenly I was playing a 65-year-old. So people get zapped because of that, number one. Also the content The theme of the film was as contemporary as today's. Then also Daddy. I think Daddy I did when I was going through some 3 to 4 shifts in a day. Means I had told Mr. Mahesh, but I'll give you 2 hours in a day. So I personally feel that all that work which I today see on television, it keeps coming because I'm on television every day. There is some channel or the other, some old film of mine is running. I laugh because I was enjoying the journey part of it. I was also not one of those actors who thought that they will change the history of Indian cinema.
Are there actors who think they do that? With that
some
kind
people
of
who take themselves seriously do feel that now I'm going to sort of do a favor to the audience by making this film or by acting in this film. For me, I was grown up on Rajendra Kumar's film, Manoj Kumar's film, Dilip Kumar, Devanand, Vajanti Mala, etc. in Shimla. And for me to be able to shoot with them was the biggest high. When I did Saransh, my second film was Javani with Ramesh Behel. And Ramesh Behel was the first producer who approached me. Thank you. Ramesh Behel was the first producer who Rose Movies, who approached me for a role in a film opposite. I had a choice. I could either choose a role opposite Maushmi Chatterjee or I could choose a role opposite Sharmila Tagore. So while they were narrating me the script, in my mind was going on, who do I like most? Sharmila Tagore or Maushmi Chatterjee? Sharmila Tagore. Then I said Sharmila Tagore. So he said, no, she is doing her role. You want a role opposite her. So I think after 3 years of no work, after 3 years of being on the streets, being on the platforms.
And this is post Saransh?
This was post Saransh.
Okay.
Yeah, but before that, 81, 3rd June 81, I came to Bombay, and till end of 83, I did not get any work. And it was horrible, means I had no place to stay, I had nothing. So when I got work.
Were you doing theatre?
I was doing theatre, but to be recognized, to keep yourself busy.
So it's not enough
Yash ji aake dekh gaye play, Yash ji used to say nice play thing, Mahesh Bhatt came and saw the play. So what I'm trying to say is that I don't take myself seriously, so I don't take this burden of being, now I'm going to change the Hindi cinema, because before me there were brilliant actors who we don't remember today, and actors, actresses, musicians, singers, poets, this thing. I just enjoy whatever I do.
So I will say, okay, there's no regret. You don't say, I wish I hadn't done that because that went into making who you are.
I laugh. It's such an entertaining thing. Yeah, that's the best way to deal with life.
Now, there's one particular issue that I wanted to discuss with you, and then I have some other questions not to do with that issue, but I'll just get that out of the way first, is the whole freedom of speech debate, because I saw your speeches on it in Kolkata and in Jaipur. I've been a huge admirer of your work, and when I was younger in school, right from Tezab to Ram Lakhan, you were an integral part of every film that we used to go, scale the walls and watch.
Yeah.
So, having known artists, I know an artist's pulse is about expression. It's about expressing yourself. It's about, at one level, every artist is a philosopher as well. Because there is a story you're telling, whether it's your own. There's a certain intensity in artists that, I'm not being disparaging to bankers or accountants, but you know what I'm saying. There is a certain connect with your emotion. As an artist, I just find it odd, and I'm disappointed when you endorse restrictions to freedom of expression. Why would you do that? If you could just explain.
First of all, you have to give me examples when I do the restriction of freedom of expression. So you will have to tell me that when did I do that. Number one. Number two, I think this the explanation of artist is a little exaggerated version of trying to feel important. Artists are, my job is as simple or as complicated as that of a carpenter. Carpenter does not have the, I mean it, and I'm not sort of degrading myself. I will never do that. I have a great sense of pride. But I think it's a habit of artists saying, "Aaj mood nahi hai. Hum aaj mood mein nahi hai." A soldier does not say that.
Right.
A carpenter does not say that. But an artist has a liberty of doing that. And over the period of time, people have sort of taken it for this thing, yaar ye mood mein nahi hai. I have not used two expressions for the last 20 years deliberately, is that I am bored or aaj mood nahi hai. So my perception of artist is that it's a job that I have to do, and whether my mother is dying, I have to do comedy. When my brother called me up in London and I was doing a comic film, and he said I have got cancer, and he's very close to me, and he informed me at 8:30 in the morning, and I had to get into a scene which was totally comical. I did not tell the whole unit, oh, I have got a very bad news, so we need to break for 2-3 days. You have to do your job. If you're on stage, you get any bad news, you have to do. So this is a philosophy which can be debated. So I do not. So I do not prescribe to that. Maybe painter needs to feel that way because it's a solo individual job. Maybe a poet, as an actor, you are not an individual. Your job is dependent on, if you are doing a film, 200 people are dependent on you on the sets. If you are doing a play, 6:30 is the play opening, you have to do and go on stage. So it has nothing to do with freedom of expression. I have in movies done villains, I have played rapists, I have played everything. That doesn't mean that I believe in that theory.
That's not what I meant, but I'll explain after you finish.
Yeah, so that's why I do not feel that artists have to have this freedom of feeling I am some kind of an important thing. And what is the definition of artist? Artist does his job as sincerely as, and there are bad actors and good actors. Bad actors have more moods than good actors. Good actors deliver. Bad actors need to get into something like that.
I mean, I'll come to the freedom of expression because I would like you to answer that. But
I will answer that.
But on this aspect, I have one disagreement. I think it's not that simple. While I understand it's a job, and if you are a professional, if you've taken it up as a profession, you have to deliver. You can't say aaj mood nahi hai. Like you said, the 200 people dependent. If they've shown up at 6 o'clock, you respect their professionalism and you deliver. But it's like saying writers or directors, they are storytellers, they change the world. Writers have changed the world. They write in a moment of inspiration. You don't have to be inspired to do balance an account book.
But I don't agree with you.
So I'm just saying
I don't agree with that at all.
But as far as writers are concerned,
if that was the case, I would have not done 498 films.
No, I'm not saying that's the only case. What I'm saying is, in the case of writers or storytellers, there is sometimes an angst or a philosophy or a point of view or a political statement, just something that is at so many books. If you go down philosophy also.
I think this is writers, etc. They made it out. Anyway, I do not subscribe to that form of people.
So you think they're also doing a job? Because if they aren't,
everybody is, if they're doing a job, why?
But if you haven't been commissioned to write something, why would you write it? Because you feel like when you are commissioned, if you're hired to write something, that's different. But when a writer just writes something because
that's okay. That's why I said. That's why I excluded writers. I excluded painters, poets.
But aren't artists storytellers in some way, even actors? Like your play.
But my story is being given to me by a writer. It's being performed, directed by another director.
Yeah, but you're part of that ecosystem, right?
I know, but I am dependent on those people. My director says, I'm sorry, I don't care what you think. I want this emotion. What your interpretation is wrong. You can't argue it. Once you have agreed to work under a director, you can't tell him no. I sometimes work with directors who do not nothing. But as a professional, it's my job to listen to him say that.
Okay, now on the freedom of expression.
So I think, first of all, you have to give me example that where did I say that freedom of expression is not important?
Basically, no, you didn't say it's not important, but you advocated it being limited by legitimizing clampdowns on freedom of expression institutionally as far as the state is concerned. When you started that debate by uttering some cuss words, saying that this is not nice.
No. It started. I'll tell you where did it start from, so that we get the right perspective. It started with award boxing. Okay. So there was no agenda for me to know. Now it is the 60th birthday of mine. Now I need to get into politics. Now I need to change my perspective. Wherever I have felt the need of speaking out, I will be one of the very few actors. If you Google search actors who have spoken about various issues, I was one of the first actors.
In fact, I want to talk about that also after.
I was one of the first.
That's a great thing, I think.
Yeah, I think I was the first actor who stuck his neck out during India Against Corruption. India Against Corruption was a great movement, I thought, created by Anna Hazare, and where all these other people were Prashant Bhushan, Arvind Kejriwal, Manish Sisodia, all these people. Kumar Vishwas, in fact, came later. I was the first one to go on stage and...
Full disclosure, I am a founding member of that IAC, so they're friends of mine, just letting you know.
No, that doesn't mean if
I
you're
was a part
not...
of
If
IAC.
you're
Yeah,
not
I'm just
thinking,
putting it because the audience says आप बताते नहीं जब आप किसी को interview करते हैं कि आप भी उस movement का हिस्सा थे.
I'm glad. So you must know that I was...
Yeah, I remember you coming.
You remember that?
I was there
Yeah.
from
So
day one.
you remember that I was very, very...
Stuck your neck out. Absolutely.
I was very, very integral part of
Yes.
it, and I went out of my way to... So this is not a suddenly felt, because why did I become part of it? Because I felt I was shooting in Pune, I felt that what these people are saying is absolutely right. And then this whole award Wapsi thing happened, and I just felt it was a very subjective kind of a thing. I felt that it was a pre-planned thing. You can think about like that as an individual. You don't have to be a party candidate. And I felt that it was happening. These people who were returning their awards had a selective decision to do it now and did not do it at so many places.
Yeah, fair enough. I understand that point.
So that's okay. So in that I felt that it's important to expose them. I could have kept quiet, moved on in my life, and not had this. You would be disappointed in me.
I'm not disappointed in you.
What
on
I'm
that specific.
what I'm trying to say that I have today there are a lot of people who are sort of
that one thing doesn't define who you are. That's one aspect of you. Just want to clarify.
But I was, till this thing happened, I was a very popular among all stratas of life of people, youngsters, etc., journalists, intellectuals, etc.
You still are. I mean, there may be a disagreement among some of them, but I don't think that defines. That's one thing.
You are a nice guy, or maybe you are an intelligent person. That's why you wrote on my behalf. So that's why you are here, and that's why we can chat with each other. But so that's how it started. That I decided that let's have a march, because I feel that I traveled all over the world. I feel that then this whole intolerance business started. Intolerance. So I thought that every country has its own issues, but you do not, and we have a government which has been elected by the people, and we have not even given them chance to function. We are creating these issues of intolerance, etc., etc. Intolerance has been there, so I was speaking my mind constantly. Then I started getting invited at various places, and the incident that you are talking about is, I don't know if you were there or not personally.
No, I just saw the video.
Yes, so it's very important to understand, because interpretation is like, you can give, it's like Kurosawa's Rashomon.
Right.
There are 3 interpretations to the same event. You can depend on which one do you want to choose.
I'm just going by your speech that I saw on video.
So there is a background to that. So it was, no, before that was another Mumbai Literature Festival.
Yes.
With Anil Dharkar had done it.
You mentioned that when they booed you and they didn't let you talk.
Yes. So in which Shobha Day was there, in which I was there, and one Nalin Kohli was there, and this gentleman, another gentleman, Sudhendra Kulkarni was there. And the topic was, freedom of expression is in imminent danger. It was a statement. So I told Anil Dharkar, why is it a statement? Because, is that your point of view? He said, no, this is how the BBC way of doing. But I said, we are not in BBC, we are in India. He said, no, I would like to keep it. I said, then why don't you keep the topic, the freedom of expression is not in imminent danger, and let people speak for and against. So he gave me some example again, BBC and Nick Rowling is the core of this thing. I said, we are, after independence, we are still listening to what Nick Rowling has to tell us. And I said, I said, the audience will be yours. If I say any point, it's invited by you, na? So they have to raise hands whose point of view is right. He said, nahi, aap aa to jao, it's important. So I had clarified lots of things. So then when Shobha, and I told him, let me be the last speaker, because I do not prepare my speeches. I don't make notes also, I speak extempore wherever I go, whatever I can say, because I cannot craft my things. So then Shobha Day spoke about how these people have got into our kitchens and they were deciding what should we eat and this and that, and freedom of expression is in danger and things like that. And Sudhindra Kulkarni had his face had been blackened by some people over here, and etc. And Nalin Kohli spoke from a constitution point of view, a lawyer's point of view. So I personally felt that if it is so much in danger, this whole meeting or this whole debate should have happened in some dungeon underneath some building where people were just hiding and coming in and talking that we are in a very dangerous times, or there are tanks moving on the streets.
It doesn't have to be that extreme.
No, I'm just saying that. No, that's the way you put it across. No? It's everybody has their own way of putting it across. I said we are doing it open. There is a champagne and chicken wings going on behind. There is a 100 feet away, there is a festival of Mami going on there. There is no such thing is happening. And I said Shobha Day should be the last person to talk about freedom of expression, because she is the one who started the gossip magazine called Stardust. And she has lived on the cultivated or imaginary lives of film stars all her life. All her books are about that. And she is still on the panel sitting and discussing freedom of expression. So it's not affected her.
Right.
When you, and that was my point of truth. But I think bothered her, and that bothered the people, friends of theirs, and they started booing, and they did not let me. So I said to them that this is what you do when somebody uses a freedom of expression, because it doesn't suit you. So I was a non-poster boy of a so-called section of group. Arey yaar, ye to galat baat karta hai hamare point. So when the Jaipur Literary Festival happened, again the last day's topic was that freedom of expression, etc. And Madhu Trihan was a friend of mine, Naresh and Madhu, both of them. So she got up and she said that, we are in a state where we cannot say all India beep, etc. So when my time came, so I said that Madhu, you are I think under the wrong impression, because it's a registered company. They call themselves, it's called the All India Bakshod, whatever it is, it's there. And I also feel that since the cuss word was earlier also used by somebody or the other, I said the point is, we do not, to me, I always believe in, and I believe in today also, that the rules that I apply at home, I will apply those rules to the country.
Isn't that dangerous, because every home has different rules? I mean, that means your home's rules have to be, every home has to accept that rule?
No. That's my point of view.
Yeah, but your point of view.
If you think in your home the rules are different, if you think that आपको जूते उतार के मंदिर में जाना है, या आपको थूकना नहीं है अपने सोफे के पास, या आपको अगर से designated area नहीं है, तो अगर आप घर पे नहीं करते हैं तो बाहर क्यों करते हैं?
हाँ, but what I'm saying is that how home functions, how government functions, or how a country functions is different.
I'm talking about an individual as my responsible citizen of this country.
Yeah.
I'm not speaking from...
The earlier thing that you said was that, so you were disagreeing that it is not an imminent danger. I may agree with you, and I probably do, that there is no such alarming, I think the space that we have, even that has been occupied.
Yeah.
And I say this on our show all the time, and my language is slightly loose. सबकी फटती थी इंदिरा गांधी से.
Correct.
सोनिया गांधी सबकी फटती थी, अब अमित शाह मोदी साहब की फटती है, वो कल्चरली हमारी फटती है. That's a fact. So that is a separate thing. So that's one point, and I agree that there's no imminent danger. And I think we are too robust and chaotic a people for that to really be. And that is my personal belief.
Correct.
And I agree with that. What I was disappointed with that you went on to advocate, maybe it was done inadvertently at the heat of the moment, because you said you don't prepare a text. You actually spoke that therefore, because so many people say all sorts of stuff that in my house you don't curse, it is okay for a government to clamp down and have restrictions on freedom of expression.
No, I never said that.
That I was like a little stunned. I was like, so you agree that there should not be any restrictions?
There is not. Of course there should be no restrictions or something.
Because that is what, when I heard your speech, I said you're arguing.
I said, आपने जैसे फटती का वर्ड इस्तेमाल किया, वैसे मैंने बहन की गाली बोली थी कि बहन की गाली हम घर पे नहीं देते हैं. Unless बाप देता, माँ देती है, बेटा देता, तो वो different किस्म के. But I am talking about a middle class family where people are little careful. So वो नहीं देते हैं. दूसरी ये सब नहीं करते हैं. What bothers I think people that I am openly say that I admire Mr. Modi.
No, that is a separate.
So
lot
that's,
of
but
people
I
can.
am not, why should I sort of, I have lived
You will
in this
not
country.
advocate restrictions on freedom of expression.
No,
you would never
not at all.
advocate that.
Why will I do that? I'm not an idiot.
Okay.
Why in?
Because that's what I got. I'm very glad to hear that.
That is
so we
a
agree on
completely
that.
wrong interpretation that you've got. Why in no way I have said, in no way, I don't know what you heard, but nowhere have I said that the freedom of expression should be curtailed or should be under control. I feel that we should have a great sense of national pride. I feel that we should feel, but there are rules and regulations which follow. The same people who, when we go abroad, हम घंटों लाइन में खड़े रहते हैं. यहाँ पर हमको कोई तमीज़ नहीं है लाइन की.
Yeah, but you know my difference in equating those rules, and I'll just, after this we'll move on to the other 2-3 things I have, because I don't want the whole thing to be just about this. The distinction, at least for me, and you know, you can tell me if you agree or disagree and what your point of view is.
If you enjoyed that, click up here to support us and down here to subscribe. Be sure to check out our older episodes and the other stuff we do, like Can You Take It, I Agree, panel discussions, comics and animations, and much, much more.